Good evening once again, and welcome to the 2018 Wayne County Area Chamber of Commerce Annual Dinner. I'm Rick Duncan, and on behalf of the Chamber, thank you for spending your night with us. To kick off tonight's A Night at the Movies, please welcome to the stage our dinner's double diamond sponsor, West End Bank President and CEO, Tim Frame.
Good evening, everyone. What a good-looking group, I must say. Especially that table right over there. They look good. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to A Night at the Movies. West End Bank is pleased once again to be the double diamond sponsor of the Chamber Annual Dinner. At West End Bank, our tagline is endless possibilities. The wonderful possibilities for Wayne County are truly endless if we all invest in our businesses, support the local economy by buying local, and celebrate each other's successes. We support the Chamber because, like you, we believe in businesses working together, developing our workforce, and building our quality of life that makes Wayne County truly a blockbuster community. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Thank you again to West End Bank, tonight's double diamond sponsor. We would also like to thank diamond sponsors First Bank Richmond and First Merchants Bank. Ruby sponsors 1017 The Point, Belden, G1013, Kicks 96, Recycling Center, Reed Health, WCTV, Whitewater Construction, and WKBV ESPN Radio. Many others have also significantly contributed, and you will find the entire list of sponsors in your program. We encourage you to visit these fine organizations with your business.
There's no shortage of education here in Richmond, and I love that we as a community support the activities that the students do on a regular basis.
Getting the kids immersed in technology from robotics to programming, I think that they've been doing a really great job with that.
We have Purdue School of Technology, Indiana University East, Earlham College, Bethany Theological Seminary, as well as Ivy Tech Community College.
3 years ago, when the Parks Department started helping run the farmers market, we had 3 vendors on our first day. Flash forward to this year, we usually have at least 50 vendors on our market days. We've seen a lot of people just really starting to understand the importance of buying local and eating local and supporting our local farmers.
Richmond is unique because of the appreciation of arts and culture, and I think we see that everywhere. We have a symphony, civic theater, the Richmond Art Museum, Shakespeare Festival, it goes on and on and on. For people who say there's nothing to do, they need to follow me around for a week.
Richmond is just a perfect location for a business. You have that draw from the big cities, but you don't have the expenses. If you have the product and you have the service, you got a good opportunity here in Richmond.
When I left Richmond, I said I would never come back. I've been back since 1985, and I wanted my children to grow up in the same village that I grew up in, and I don't think I turned out too bad.
At this time, we begin with our opening act. Please join me in welcoming a man who needs no introduction, but we'll give him one anyway, the Mayor of Richmond, Mayor Dave Snow.
Thank you, and a very special thanks to the Institute for Creative Leadership for the production of that wonderful video. Please give them another round of applause. That's a tremendous video. I am absolutely thrilled to be here with you tonight as we look back on 2017 and not only celebrate our blockbuster community, but use this opportunity to recharge as we set out into the year ahead. Our goal as a community, and it has to be a community effort, will be to come back together right here 1 year from now and look back on a tremendous 2018. Now, as we look back on 2017, we started the year with the announcement of Blue Buffalo. This exciting addition to our economic landscape brings 165 new jobs and was the direct result of the teamwork between our EDC, Wayne County government, City of Richmond, and the town of Centerville. For too long, there's been a mindset all across the country that for cities and towns to be successful, they had to silo up. The cities were the cities, the towns were the towns, and the county was the county. However, as mayor, I truly believe that the success of this city is symbiotic to the success of the county and of the region. And that's why from day one, thank you. That's why from day one, you've seen collaborative partnerships and cooperation such as this that have leveraged our collective resources to make greater strides for everyone that calls Wayne County home. Now, not every success of 2017 was the result of a large collaborative effort such as Blue Buffalo. Some were the direct result of the creative and dedicated minds from within their collective communities, yet still have a large, positive, and lasting impact on our entire region. Let's take, for example, Cope Environmental Center. They stepped up and met the Living Building Challenge. Absolutely. They will continue to even better provide education to children of all ages so they will grow up knowing and understanding the importance of environmental sustainability. We now have active Main Street organizations in Centerville, Cambridge City, and Hagerstown. This brings a dedicated advocate to facilitate and empower the growth of local business. You may have even seen a surge in the locally owned businesses in our area. That's a challenge to each and every one of us, to shop local, support those local businesses, and together celebrate their growth in the years to come. Absolutely, thank you. We've seen thriving success in Richmond's Elstro Plaza, from concerts to Shakespeare in the Park to our growing farmers market and the amazing Richmond Meltdown Ice Festival. Elstro Plaza continues to play a vital role in the culture and quality of life of Richmond's downtown. And let's not forget, thank you very much. And let's not forget the Levi and Catherine Coffin Interpretive Center. This beautiful and amazing museum not only won the Chamber's 2017 Exemplary Award, but has garnered national attention for Fountain City. And this wonderful and tremendous interpretive center stands as a testament to the tenacity and the compassion of all Hoosiers. It's a wonderful place. And finally, to book into the year, city and county officials came together to solve an issue that many thought was not solvable: the demolition of the former hospital on US 27. Thank you. After over a year of work, I and City Council, Wayne County Council and Commissioners, and Reed Health stepped up to tear that old building down. And tearing down a building is kind of only half the battle. Now the work turns to all of you, so that we can finally stop looking back at what once was and something that seems to have held us back for so long, and focus our energies on looking forward to what can be for Richmond and Wayne County. Thank you. And I really hope that's how you will all leave here tonight, recharged and ready to play an active role as a member of this blockbuster community. Because all this teamwork you're hearing about shouldn't be celebrated as a finish line. It should be the new standard of how we all work together as a collaborative team for the progress of this community, and harness that momentum to carve a path to success for Richmond and Wayne County. Because the most important takeaway from this, to remember when you leave here tonight, is that you are the leaders of Wayne County. You are what guides us and challenges us to push forward and set out for new heights. We're a blockbuster community because of each and every one of you. You are what breathes life and vibrancy into Richmond and Wayne County. And with all of you working together as a collaborative team, then our best days are definitely yet to come. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Chamber's 2017 Board Chair, Brad Van Vliet.
Thank you, Mayor Snow. Now, Melissa always does a fantastic job planning this annual dinner, and I know she's extremely excited about this blockbuster theme, A Night at the Movies. She even asked me if I would include it in my speech this evening. So of course, I had the great idea of being introduced as one of the world's highest paid actors, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I envisioned music, smoke, me coming out on stage, my bomber sunglasses. I thought I could pull off The Rock, same haircut. Then I decided to bring it up to my wife. She gave me that look like, not such a good idea, Brad. So you can all thank Kelly, you're stuck with a boring insurance agent this evening. On a serious note, I have just completed the 2017 year as the chair of the Wayne County Area Chamber of Commerce. In reflecting back on the past year, I thought about how I ended up in this position. It all started with a call from Kathy Cruz Uribe asking for a visit. I distinctly remember her coming into my office, very politely asking if I would take over the position as chair after her term in 2016. I, very politely, said no. I thought, what do I know? I'm a 37-year-old young professional without experience, not quite ready for this stage. Well, if you all know Kathy, she's very good at persuading. She continued to twist my arm until I caved under the pressure. So here I am today. I was a former college linebacker, and I was looking into the eyes of Kathy, and she said to me, "You're the next man for the job." So I broke under the pressure, and I stepped up to the plate. It really is hard to believe that I have actually been on the chamber board for over 10 years. But I can honestly say that you can't truly appreciate the time and the effort that it takes to run this organization until you've been in this leadership role. I have been so impressed with the staff and the volunteers that work so diligently every day to accomplish the mission of the chamber. And that mission is to promote, lead, unite, and serve our business in our community in order for Wayne County and the surrounding area to be a great place to live, learn, and do business. And because of this hard work and success, we're here tonight at this blockbuster event to celebrate. And just like a movie, on the outside we see this glossy, finished, professional production. Well, I want to give you a sneak peek behind the scenes to show you what it takes to create this finished product. These are just a few of the highlights from this past year. First, let's start off with the celebrations. The Chamber hosted 25 ribbon cuttings and groundbreaking ceremonies throughout the year to celebrate investments made in our community through new business formations or expansions of existing businesses. The Chamber also partnered with Junior Achievement to organize the very first high school senior job fair at RHS as well as Centerville High School. We had over 30 businesses being represented, 5 local higher education opportunities, and more importantly, over 700 seniors participated in the 2 events. Once again, School is Cool knocked it out of the park. Thanks to Meyer donating 13 bikes that were given away to elementary school kids. And of course, we can't forget about Wetzel Auto giving the car or a scholarship to one lucky high school senior with perfect attendance. The Buy Local Committee created the first Wayne County Weekends, which was a 4-month marketing blitz to promote events and activities that were taking place throughout the county. The idea was to highlight a different community every week, and I believe we were very successful. And backed by popular demand, the Taste of Wayne County, with a new twist bringing in the Business Expo. We had 11 restaurants participate, 18 for-profit booths, and 19 nonprofits, and 425 in attendance. The event became so big we had to move it from the mall to here at the Raper Center, and I expect it to be even bigger in 2018. Another goal of the Chamber this year is to be able to tell our story. I hope that if you turned on your computer, looked at your phone, got onto social media, you would have seen one of the 300 posts from the Chamber that had a reach of over 250,000. If you turned on the TV, you maybe would have seen Melissa on one of her monthly Chamber chats. And if you open up your email on a Friday, more than likely you got an email from Ed highlighting some of the community events. And most recently, if you open your mail at work, I hope you would have seen the very first of our quarterly publication that was released in December and included our membership directory. And last but not least, we highlight growth. Because of these events, because of these activities and the marketing, the Wayne County Area Chamber of Commerce was able to add 56 new members, which shows that we truly are bringing value to the business community. So now that I've shown you behind the scenes, let's roll a quick credit. Because what's probably even more impressive, that all of this was accomplished with a staff of only 3. First, our fearless leader, President and CEO Phil D'Amico, who obviously was so successful that he was offered another position at the Bloomington Chamber. Unfortunately, Phil couldn't be with us here tonight, but I do want to take this opportunity to thank him for his hard work, his dedication, and we wish him the best of luck in the future. Next, the one and only Melissa Vance, Director of Education and Programs. I think we can all agree that she blew it out of the park yet again. And of course, our Director of Marketing and Communication, Ed De La Paz, the marketing maestro. Now, I can't give all the credit to the staff. They did have help from 4 interns throughout the year, as well as 158 volunteers that put in countless hours. But it was the leadership of the staff that made this blockbuster event possible by increasing membership, new and improved programs, and most importantly, we were able to end the year with our income exceeding our expenses. Always a great feeling to be in the black. So I would just like to take a moment to take an opportunity to thank the staff and everyone that helped make 2017 such a great year for the Chamber of Commerce. I even want to thank Kathy for persuading me to step out of my comfort zone and lead such a great board of directors. Well, now that I'm up here, I have the honor to introduce Jeff Carter, the president of Bethany Theological Seminary, to lead us in an invocation. Also excited to announce that Jeff will be joining the Chamber Board in 2018. You may notice as he approaches that he is the counterpoint to myself and The Rock, as he has a full head of hair.
It is a blessing to be here. I just arrived home from Africa, where we dedicated a new technology building in Nigeria. And just last week, we had students in Nigeria studying with students here in Richmond, Indiana, through a technology portal in real time, where they could see each other face to face, they could hear each other, they could interrupt each other, and most of all, they could learn together. Cutting edge technology reaching out to the world, and it's happening here in Wayne County. It's a good place to be, and we have much for which we can give thanks. Will you join me in a spirit of gratitude as we pray? Gracious God, we are grateful. We are grateful for calendars that are full, for it means we have work. We are grateful for tables which are set, for it means we have food. We are grateful for the conversations rolling over each other, indistinguishable as a whole and yet known in their intimacy, for it means we share in the company of colleagues and friends. Work, food, and friends, easily taken for granted and yet essential to life and the building of a community. These are gifts and true signs of prosperity, for they speak of our welfare, sustaining us in this moment and offering us a future with hope. And so we give thanks, particularly when we know that there are many whose hope is fleeting. So we are mindful of those who live without and ask that in this quiet moment, our resolve might be strengthened so as to bring the fullness of who we are and what we have to our common good. A good which has no partiality, a good that seeks the welfare of our city and community, a good which moves from proclamation to a very real presence in and through us, a good that is lasting and life-giving. May we embody the good we seek in all we say and in all we do. May we give thanks. For we are aware of those who depend on us, our families who support us in our dreams and endeavors and at times make quiet sacrifice in their care for us. We are aware of colleagues sharing in common work from hourly to salary, investing in a common vision. And we are aware of our constituents, students, and customers with whom we share expectations in the constant exchange of goods and services, an exchange having more to do with trust and equity than gold and silver. So for the chamber and those who lead it, for the food and those who serve it, for busy calendars and the work that fills them, for our families, colleagues, and friends, we pause to give thanks, ever mindful of our ability to make a difference and to live into the future, our future, with hope. Amen.
We encourage you to continue to enjoy your dinner as we'll now resume the program. How about a hand once again for Chef Gallo, his team and the staff here at the Coleman Center for their great hospitality and hard work. At this time, we direct your attention to the video screens as we join the Chamber's Melissa Vance, who caught up with a few celebrities in attendance here tonight on the red carpet as they arrive.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Melissa Vance here at the red carpet at the Chamber's annual dinner and night at the movies. We're going to see if we can catch a few celebrities as they're walking in this evening. And now, oh, Kathy! Kathy Cruz-Uribe from IU East. Thank you for being here.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. Thanks.
Now, Kathy, everyone knows you are an artist at heart. And if you could draw a caricature of a local character or celebrity, who would you pick?
I think I would pick Mayor Dave Snow because he has such a great smile. It would be really fun to draw that. And I wouldn't have to draw any hair.
Good answer. Maybe a little glare, but no hair. All right. Now, Kathy, you were an award winner last year. What advice would you give the winners tonight to make sure they don't fall on their face in front of a huge crowd of celebrities?
I would say, don't talk too much and smile, and don't talk too much and smile, and don't talk too much.
Great answer. Well, thanks for being here. We'll see you inside.
Yes.
All right. And Lee Elsemeyer from First Merchants Bank. Hello.
Hey, Melissa. How are you doing tonight?
Fantastic. Thank you for being here. Now, Lee, you are our board chair. What could I possibly ask you tonight that would ensure I don't get fired?
Nice softball question.
Okay. Well, how about this one? What is your favorite movie quote? And can you tell us in the voice of the character?
Well, let me think about that. I'll try it. Let's see. It would go, you want the truth? You want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Perfect answer. I love it. Well, thanks for stopping and talking to us. We'll see you inside.
All right, have a great night.
All right, I think we have time for one more. And just in time for Tracy Upchurch. Hello.
How are you this evening?
Fantastic. Good. Now, Tracy, everyone in town knows you. And I suspect that someday a producer's going to want to make a movie about the life of Tracy Upchurch.
Oh, goodness. Hopefully not.
Who would you want to portray you?
Oh, geez, let me think. Julia Roberts, maybe?
Perfect answer. Every woman's favorite answer. Julia Roberts, right?
Of course.
Okay. Now, one last question. We know there are a lot of ladies here tonight that are incredibly uncomfortable, squirming in their dresses. Just between us girls, Spanx or no thanks?
I'm going to say Spanx. Partially because they're so comfortable, right?
Absolutely.
Says no woman ever.
Exactly. I don't know. I'd have to argue that one. I think, in the words of every parent's favorite musical character, I'd have to say, let it go. And now, back to the main stage. I'm Melissa Vance on the red carpet.
Better than Ryan Seacrest. Thank you, Melissa. Now, we're pleased to welcome to the stage the 2018 Chamber of Commerce Chairman of the Board, First Merchants Bank Market President Lee Elzemeyer.
Good evening. That's a tough act to follow there. As many of you know, it's been already a roller coaster ride of being the chair. The first week was a little exciting, but things are really looking up. I checked with the historian for the chamber, and I believe this is the nicest weather we've ever had for a chamber dinner. So, something to be excited about. Brad talked about how great our staff is, staff of 3, soon to be staff of 2, but working with the volunteers to put on a great event like we've had tonight, and it's just amazing how being a 4-H parent that comes here in the summertime to see this building, and then you come today, and it's a whole new experience. It's being in a different world. I keep thinking the stormtroopers are going to pop up behind us any minute. Tonight I wanted to just take a few minutes and talk about the Chamber's mission and how it works hand in hand in making a better community. A few things I wanted to talk about were our education, investment in the community, and developing a strong workforce. Last night, as I was reading about the passing of President Bowling, it really struck me in just reading all his achievements of what a mark he left on Earlham College. You know, a life well lived. But as I also thought about it, when you leave a mark on Earlham, you also leave a mark on Richmond and Wayne County, and he did that too. And to take it a step further, I also thought about, you know, if an Earlham family was bringing a child to come see Earlham for the first time and they happened to get off of 40 and drove through the Cambridge City area or drove through Centerville just to see the amazing things that are going on in those areas and how they've upgraded the downtown areas over the last 10 years or so. It's an amazing transformation, and those improvements also leave a mark on Earlham, leave a mark on Richmond, and leave a mark on our community. So I think one of our big assets that maybe we don't tout enough is that truly we are a college town. Not just one college, but 4 colleges. It seems like we should have a homecoming parade about every other week. But using those with their variety of talent and the different type of education that you can get at each one of our schools, I think feeds into kind of the next component, which is having that workforce development of a funnel of students and people that want to come to our community and work. We need to work as a chamber, as a community, to improve that funnel constantly, but it's something that can be done and will be done. And also going along with that, the high schools. I think over the last year, 2 years, as we've continued to expand the job fairs into the high school, and then the Find a Job Friday, those programs are showing our high school students that what opportunities there are within our community. When each year, I would say close to 2,000 people graduate from high school or college, at that point, you know, they have decisions to make, and, you know, we need to work with them to help make Richmond and Wayne County an option for them. You know, throughout the history of modern man, people have always, you know, as soon as they graduate, the first thing they want to do is, I want to get away from where I grew up. I want to go someplace and see the world. We hope that one day, like in the video earlier, they decide to come back to Richmond or to Wayne County. but it's going to happen. I think there's another group out there of people that believe that Richmond, Wayne County don't have what they're looking for, whether it's quality of life or the job opportunities. And I think we need to continue to work through the chamber and through our other partners to, try to get those people to see what opportunities there are, what the quality of life is of our area, it's great. It's an amazing area if you really dig into it and take a chance. I think we can work to get these students to come and stay in the Richmond, Wayne County area. Every day, approximately 4,900 people travel into the Richmond, Wayne County area to work. I think that's a huge number, and we also need to work with those people to show them the quality of life that we have here to come make this area their homes. I think our new program of Hoosier Opportunities, the website, which is a job posting and also where employers can show off their wares, potential employees can show off their resumes, what they have to offer. I think that's a great creative new idea that has been launched, and we need to continue to be creative. I know out here in this room, there's just over almost 600 people that are the best recruiters that I know that can help promote, support, and show the greatness of our community. I think we can all do that with a concerted effort of inviting people into our community and show them all the great things that go on here. The chamber needs to be a leader to help promote those positives, and we'll continue to do that. We all have problems to solve. Every community has problems. What we need to do, though, is also to dwell on the positives, not the negatives. We can spend long and hard hours trying to solve any kind of issue, but also be sure to talk about the positives. One of my favorite events of the chamber is the Community Improvement Awards. Each year we celebrate those who've made an investment in our community. It's a great lunch. We talk about projects that maybe I've heard about but didn't know the extent of the project, or maybe projects that I hadn't even heard about that have gone on. But I know there's a lot more that happens that don't get honored at that dinner. I'd like for you, the business owners and the people who work in our community, if your business has in the last year or two invested in themselves, in the community, to please stand up. If you were honored at any of the awards, if you'd stand up. I know that we're Midwesterns. We don't like to be recognized, but I want to applaud you for being the risk takers. You've invested in our community, and you need to be recognized for that. It's very easy to use your capital in an easier investment, a safer investment, to invest in Wayne County is important, and we need to do a better job of recognizing that. Wayne County is a great place to grow your ideas. It's a great place for your investments and for your businesses. So I hope that you'll continue to invest in our community. I'm looking forward to a great year at the Chamber. As Brad discussed, 2017 was a great year, and we look to continue and to grow from some of the initiatives that we did during the year. So many of those firsts that he talked about. I hope you'll take some time to be a part of the many wonderful things the Chamber is doing and that our community is doing. The main takeaway is to be proud of our community. Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce Jack Hess. Jack comes to us from the Columbus, Indiana area, and I hope he'll continue this conversation on community collaboration. I'm excited that he's here. He's a Ball State graduate, spent much of his career in Columbus, being the chamber president. During that time, the Columbus Chamber was recognized as the Indiana and then the National Chamber of the Year. Currently, Jack is the executive director of the Civic Lab. Civic Lab is dedicated to studying and advancing civic collaboration. I'm excited to hear Jack's insights into how to work to make our community better. Please join me in welcoming Jack to the chamber.
Thank you, Lee, for that wonderful introduction. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the Board of Directors of the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce for this extraordinary opportunity and invitation to be here with you this evening. Good evening. The topic tonight is one that's well-versed with your theme of a blockbuster community and the theme of Hollywood. The topic tonight is talent. And not talent by chance, not talent by accident, but talent by design. And I really want to start some of my comments to say we are pretty blessed in the state of Indiana to have some very enlightened leadership around this particular topic. And I'll hold up one bloke as an example of that, Mr. Jamie Marasotas. For those of you who don't know, Jamie is the CEO of Lumina Foundation. And Lumina is one of the largest foundations for education in the United States of America. And in Jamie's book that came out 2 years ago, and it was titled America Needs Talent, not America's Got Talent, that's a show, right? America Needs Talent. Jamie put forth this really intriguing idea about something called a talent hub. And a talent hub is an exemplary place that uses the power of place and all that it has to attract, develop, and nurture and cultivate talent. Now, he laid out the concept in the book, but he didn't really give many examples. About 3 months ago, Lumina Foundation recognized 17 communities that they thought were exemplary of talent hubs, and this is the list, and shown here on the left. And lo and behold, and we were so flattered, we were so honored, but Columbus, Indiana made that list. And I know what you're thinking, it's kind of the Sesame Street thing. One of these things doesn't belong, one of these things is not like the other. And some even called Lumina and said, Columbus, Indiana, you meant Ohio, right? So tonight, I'm gonna do 3 things. I'm gonna tell you why I think Columbus, Indiana made that list, at least from our perception. 2, I work with those other 16 cities thanks to our work with Civic Lab. I'm going to tell you what they know about developing talent in a world-class way. And then 3, I'm here to celebrate what you're already doing, the fantastic work around talent that you've already begun, you're well in the midst to, and try to say you're heading in the exact right direction. So those are the 3 tasks. Now here I have a very, very, very simple theme and a very simple thesis, and it is this. The development of people is economic development, period. The rest is logistics. And this is a huge, important facet because it's human resourcefulness that makes the difference in all these communities that we're about ready to look at. And human resourcefulness is this faculty that's able to dig a resource out of the ground like a rock, in this case bauxite, and turn it and fashion into alloys that make airships that fly across continents and across oceans. And it's that same faculty, human resourcefulness, that allows somebody to look at some grains of sand and really fashion and design that into tiny little electronic brains that forever change how we compute, how we communicate, and as you know, how we relate to one another. And every great entrepreneur in the room knows this, and there's a chamber, so I know there's many of you, but every great community knows this as well, that the resources are great. But it's human resourcefulness that adds really the X factor on anything. And that's what creates the total value for any community. It's the thing that makes the catalytic difference. Now, I hope you could excuse me. I'm going to actually build upon a framework tonight that's not my own. Instead, I'm going to use kind of the thoughts of a very smart bloke by the name of David Banks out of Carnegie Mellon University. And David studies something very interesting. He studies the problem of excess genius. I don't know about you, that's a problem I would love to have. I mean, think about it. If you could say, Wayne County, we're up to here in genius, that would be a tremendous thing that I want for you. Now, David realized that there are places in time that have actually had this problem, if you think about it. If you think about Athens at the time of Aristotle and the Forum, and if you think about Florence at the time of Michelangelo, and if you think about Elizabethan England at the time of Shakespeare, and if you think about Edinburgh, Scotland at the time of the Enlightenment, and if you even think about Weimar, Germany, which is a town about the exact same size as your county, by the way, they had a tremendous amount of talent with Goethe, and Schiller, and Liszt, and Nietzsche, amazing amount. They had way more talent than they should have. David looked at those places and said, you know what, they all have a few things in common. And he identified 4 things particularly across all those places, even though they were in many different times and many different places. The first one is this. Each of those regions enjoyed a significant military victory in the preceding generation. Now, I have no idea what to tell you with this one, and I'm certainly not advocating that you go over and attack Connersville, right? I have to probably believe that this says something about hope and optimism. So let's put that one aside. The other 3, I think, are applicable here, though, to our discussion. The first one is everyone, I hope everyone's okay. Every one of those places was a continual mixing of people because they were all retail and merchant trade centers. And it wasn't just the products, you understand, right, that was important. It was this continuous flow of new people. And with those new people came new ideas and new technologies and new culture and new energy. And that's what it was about. You know, they always say, if you have an apple and I have an apple and we exchange, we each have an apple. But if you have an idea and I have an idea and we exchange, then we each have 2 ideas. That's what it's about, this continual flow of people. The second thing that's important, each of those places pioneered new forms of education, of teaching and learning specific to their economic strengths. They all employed different models of education and learning, but they all required learning perfectly tailored to the kind of society that they wanted to create. And the third and the final one is this. They all had, for the lack of a better word, this creative infrastructure. The spaces, the places, and the processes so people could share ideas and work together. Now those 3 things, if you put them together, attract, develop, and engage. And if you add David Banks' kind of thoughts about how that relates back to the great places, I would advocate, ladies and gentlemen, this is what the world-class communities are doing today, but they're doing it in a systemic way. They just don't have a couple strategies about attracting people and a couple around developing and a couple around engagement. No. They have got their talent, attraction, development, and engagement strategies all in alignment. So they're attracting a very particular kind of person, putting it into a very particular kind of educational setting, and putting them into a very specific community at a very specific time and place, just like a system. In other words, those communities, the whole is much more than the parts. And if you do that, and this is what they're doing, if you really do the first thing, if you attract people, you're actually changing the very structure of the population. And in the talent business, growth doesn't matter, the structure of the population does. If you're developing people, and there's so many educators in the room, which I'm so pleased to see, you're actually increasing the achievement level of what people are able to do. And if you as a community can figure out how to engage people, even to a higher level, you actually increase and create opportunity. And if you do those 3 things, and you're a place known for creative opportunity, guess what? More people are going to come. It's a virtuous cycle. This is the system, this is the game plan that the best communities are really embarked upon today. So I'm going to take the remainder of the time we have and just unpack these 3 things really quickly. Tell you a little bit about what we know and celebrate the good work going on here. So let's just get right into it. Let's start with attracting people, a continual mixing. Now the big data metric that everyone's kind of looking at here, the big outcome, I think as you probably know, is net migration, which is the net number of people coming in to the Wayne County area and the net people kind of going out over a time. An important indicator. And I know your community's looking at it. I've talked to you enough to know it's on your radar screen, and you're doing fantastic stuff to address it. Here's shown on the map, population in the year 2040. Green, good. Red, some challenges, and you know that. The problem with this indicator, though, is this. It's a lagging indicator, and you know that. By the time you get the number, it's too late. Talents already came in, talents already went out. So the real question is, what causes that number to begin with? What's the root cause that makes that map click? I think many of you know there's been a reversal and refortune of how economics and economic development works over the last 20 years. Probably one of the greatest chroniclers of that is this man, Richard Florida. And he was one of the first to look at the trend in the 60s and the 60s and the 70s, and then really hint in the 80s that it's fundamental reversal, that it used to be in the old days that companies would decide where they're going to locate based on resources, based on transportation, and then you were expected to move there to a company town. The joke was IBM used to stand for I've been moved again. But then that began to change in the 70s and 80s, as you know. Companies started looking to where talented people already lived and where the development infrastructure was the greatest, and that's where they actually moved. That's the reversal of fortune. IBM today stands for I'm by myself, because there's nowhere to work. You're given a laptop and you're on your own. It's a completely different environment. You don't have to look really any further to the announcement that was made this week, and congratulations to Indianapolis for making the top 20, the Amazon HQ2 headquarters search. Essentially, all Amazon did was up the game. They told everyone, all we want's talent. You tell us what your talent development infrastructure is and we'll consider it. 282 communities, right? Top 20. Indianapolis is on that, but there you go. That is really one of the biggest, I think, examples I know of right now that really has been the epitome of this trend that's been continuing. So this is the question you have to ask yourself. Why do people choose to live where they do? Why do people choose to move where they are? Now, lucky for all of us, there's some data on this. At the Gallup organization with the Knight Foundation, who continues to run the data, actually asked this question of nearly 28,000 people in 26 cities, and they do it every 3 years. And they ask that question, why did you choose to move where it is that you move? And here's what they said. Here's the bottom four, probably no surprises on that. In the middle, you have such things as education, basic services, leadership, economy, okay? Those are things I think we normally put pretty high. Didn't even make the top three, not even close. The top three are so statistically far away from those things that they're not even on the same list. And those top three things, number three, the aesthetics, which is the physical beauty of the setting and the overall setting, physical kind of properties. Number two, social offerings, the vibrancy of what people can actually do in nightlife and energy and beyond. Number one, openness, the perceptions of the community of other groups within the community and outside the community. Openness. This has been replicated so many times in so many studies now that it's not even refuted. If you want to win a bar bet, if you can find the places that are most open in terms of their orientation, you'll find the places that are growing the most in economic growth, almost bar none. Not saying it's causal, but it's the variable that correlates with growth better than any other variable that economists know of today. So the question is, so what can we do about this openness thing? That's the secret to getting out ahead of the net migration game, because you can do a lot here. In our own community in 2004, we decided to ask this question about how open are we? It took us a year of conversations to build up the political capital to ask, because they always say, be careful what you ask for. Be careful about the question you want. You might not get the answer you think you want. But a year later, we had the political will and we said, we're going to do it. And we went out and we talked to literally hundreds of people, ethnic groups, entrepreneurs, young professionals, LGBT members. We talked to newcomers. We talked to people who didn't choose to live in our community, people who just came and lived in our community. You name it, we probably talked to them. We gathered a tremendous amount of data about access to information. We asked them about our own openness to differences. We asked them about our friendliness. How easy was it to actually engage? And we asked them about access to arts and culture. And you know what? It was pretty sobering. Everyone thinks they're better than they really are, as we know. We had work to do. There's no doubt we had work to do. So we got to work. One of the first things we did is we took our ethnic associations and formed them into a coalition, a singular network called the Columbus Area Multi-Ethnic Organization, which created for us this plug-and-play portal where we could take anyone now coming in the world and instantly plug them into a network of relationships to groups that they wanted to be instantly affiliated with. We put a front door on that called Engage Columbus. It's basically a concierge service for people that are new to the community that would help you move up Maslow's hierarchy, whatever stage you're at, to the very next stage. We did a lot of work. And then in 2011, we came back and said, how are we doing? This time around, we went and we got nearly 1,400 responses from the community. And you know what? We got better at most of it. There were still areas that were pathetic in terms of how we rated and where we wanted to be. But the point is, by having the political will to ask, by actually wanting to know what the baseline was and this willingness to continuously improve, it got better. I was on the road this week, but I was delighted when I heard in our newspaper on Martin Luther King Day, they assembled a panel who says, hey, how are we doing? We were nervous, but the panel concluded that really the level of openness of the community has drastically changed since 2004. Just what we wanted to hear. Still a ton of work to do, but the good news is any community can do this. Just if you have the political will, the willingness to get a baseline, and then really the willingness to go to work and the teamwork that I've heard about in this room tonight. So you can get better at the traction game, but you gotta be on the leading end of it, not the trailing end when you just look at net migration a few years later. 2, education. Developing people, new forms of education perfectly tailored to your economic strengths and your quality of place. The attainment number here, right? Attainment is it. That's the metric. That's the goal that all the talent hubs actually look at. And attainment just means you have some type of credential above and beyond high school. Whether it be a certificate, whether it be a 2-year associate's degree, whether it be bachelor's or above, it's something beyond a high school credential. I think you're aware that the nation's goal is to try to have 60% of Americans with an advanced credential by 2025. That's the goal, 60% by 2025. Indiana sits right now about 41%, and the country as a whole is sitting just below 46%. I know you know this metric, and I know you're working on it, and there's great things happening. The first thing is you have to kind of realize what the baseline is. Wayne County is at 27.5%. on its attainment number. But the good news on this is just like you saw in the openness one, now that you got a baseline, right, you can continue the great work and efforts that you've got. For us, that was trying to figure out what kind of learning we wanted to match with our particular economic strengths. We're all about manufacturing and engineering. So when we heard about Napa Valley with project-based learning a decade ago, we flew out, had some great wine, studied a great school, and brought back really a project-based learning curriculum that for us was really precisely what we needed. Team-based, soft skills, problem-solving skills in groups. We were the first school district to do it K through 12. Why did we do it? Because again, it perfectly fits with the kind of education our community and employers needed. We built a lot of attainment infrastructure. Like the Community Learning Center, the Columbus Learning Center. This is what it looks like on the inside. And you notice the hallways are kind of curved, are bowed. That's because if you look at the larger building, it forms a bridge. Not just a physical bridge shown here in the middle in yellow, but also, a spiritual bridge. Our objective is to get students that are on the right of that picture in the white building to the left of that white building, right through that building. We didn't want to leave anything to chance. It's pretty clear what we want you to do. That right building, by the way, is Ivy Tech, and that left building is IUPUC and Purdue Polytechnic, many of the same namesakes and institutions that you've got represented here. The other thing we did is we invested heavily and the infrastructure that we needed, again, for our industries. With the Advanced Manufacturing Center of Excellence in partnership with Purdue and their engineering and their technology. And we also partnered with IU, so we got both teams here accounted for, right? We partnered with them on something that was very close and near to dear to us, our architectural heritage and our history, by forming the IU Center for Art and Design, now called the School of Art, Architecture, and Design. Again, a kind of learning perfectly suited to the place we want and the kind of economic characteristics we have. It's not just about buildings though, right? And I know you have this is fantastic. But we pay stipends to all counselors to go out and learn about industry and be advocates for those industries. Advanced manufacturing, engineering, IT, healthcare. Those are the four. That's what we pay them to be excited about. But the real thing that's exciting is we have students doing the same thing. We don't pay them, but they have got the most amazing energy. And at the end of the day, most of the needles we've moved has become because of the students themselves, telling other students about really exciting career options and types of opportunities they have right here in their own backyard. We also spent time just putting in those four areas, employers and educators in the same room every single month with one goal: develop pathways, and together as employers and as educators, you make sure you fill the pathway together through co-created recruitment strategies. And that's precisely what they've done. So one of the things that we've seen in all 16 of those Talent Hub communities is they all had something that looked like this. On a single page, they had a development attainment plan. And we found it across all 16. They all looked a little bit different, but they were all pretty much the same. They recognized what their current attainment number is. They set a goal between now and 2020 and again in 2025, not as an institution, but as a community. It's a community goal, and that's what makes all the difference in the development game. And then they decided those priority populations, what do they got to do to get to equity gaps? How many credentials do they have to cover in order to get there? It's a math game. You can so figure this out if you haven't. You can figure out what that delta is and get to work. On the right side of that picture, those are the particular credentials and pathways, right? That's what they want. One piece of paper, that's the action plan. This is a lot like what they're doing. And Lumina found out this simple goal, this simple little math. The difference between good communities doing talent development and great is the great ones simply set a goal. The ones who set a goal are 6 times more likely to move closer to that goal in any given year. It's as simple as that. The last piece we talked about is this: engaging people. And this time, in this place, in Wayne County. And I really want to talk about a couple things, but again, I've given you indices or matrix. This is the one we use as the big outcome one. IU Public Policy's Community Vitality Survey. It's an index of indexes. I'm sure there's someone from the Community Foundation in the room tonight. I was so delighted to see that you're pointing toward the IU Public Policy Institute as a resource. With this data, we can kind of look at our quality of life across a number of indices, compare it by county, and compare ourselves to the nation. It's the big indicator we look at, and there's 2 things I want to call out in here. One, placemaking, and the other one, process. So let's start with place. Communities are getting so good at the practice of placemaking. And the thing that's so exciting, especially for small rural communities like yours and mine, is this is a game who's got a set of principles that beautifully tailors itself to the game that we're in. It's essentially got this philosophy which says, take what you've got, rearrange it, add some human resourcefulness to it in order to gauge people. Start where you're at. And here are the principles of it, and I love these, right? First of all, lighter. Right? It doesn't take an extraordinary amount of infrastructure to engage people. 2, quicker. You don't have to wait 2 years before you have something in place where people can get excited about it. This particular project, they put a sand thing in, whole court, developed the whole park, 2 weeks. Right? Quicker, cheaper. There is no statistics that we have found that said the more money that you put into a physical structure, the more it will engage people. Not one that we have found. The beautiful thing about placemaking is you can engage people to a really high extent with very little investment. They tend to be innovative, they tend to be people-focused, not designer-focused. That's a big principle of placemaking. And they tend to be innovative. I love this one. So this is the library teaming up with the Parks Department to build an outdoor library during summer months. Very simple, right? Very innovative, highly engaging. Just takes a new idea. And then my two favorite, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring these up, tactical urbanism. Right? What can you do in a really urban space with light kind of, treatments and different ways of engaging people? But then my all-time favorite, guerrilla gardening. This city closes off their two main thoroughfares once a year and gives the young professionals free reign over the streets to set up whatever kind of guerrilla garden that they want. They just allow them to take over the whole place for the weekend. It's an amazing experience. They give out prizes, awards, and it really remakes the city really examine what it is and what it could be. Many of the installations stay. Some other thoughts about this. It doesn't have to be something. The key is these placemaking kinds of projects are phenomenal projects for bringing all cross sectors of community together. That's the thing they've proven themselves to be so effective at doing. I love this one. A village square, it used to have park benches sitting here where the people are now. No one ever sat there. They took the park benches out. They built a rock structure because we all want to sit on rocks, right? It took off. It became the heart, really a heart of energy for the entire village area. Less maintenance, again, lighter, cheaper, faster, innovative, people forward, right? Extraordinarily interesting. For our own efforts in Columbus, we formed something that we actually call Exhibit Columbus. It was a place where we took 5 of our kind of most prominent spaces in the community, and we invited the best world-class designers by invitation to submit design proposals, and we would provide awards so they could actually build their placemaking ideas in that area. We had 10 submissions. We picked the 5 that went on. We brought some of the best designers all over the world to build exhibits that would kind of talk and speak to our architecture. Some were small like this, which were student-based projects. Some were whimsical, filling in a simple alley with a kind of a vertical illusion, kind of dollhouse or playhouse. Some were done by high school students. Some were massive in their approach. But it made our own community look at itself very much differently of how we reviewed design. And it wasn't a bad economic play either, as 38,000 new tourists came in over and above the same time last year into the place to see the creations and experience the community many times for the first time. This placemaking thing you can so get good at. It's getting scary. It's almost becoming as much of a science as it is a practice today. They know the attributes, they know the measures, they know the design principles, and it's something that all of us in the Midwest can get good at because its principles are aligned with what we do best. And finally, this idea of process. One thing that we've been known for is the architecture in Columbus. There's no doubt about that. And this is a picture of J. Erwin Miller, the founder of the Cummins Architecture Program, who pays the architect's fees for all public buildings, actually in the community. You might imagine he's a huge fan of architecture. He is, but he's also a fan of something else much more important. He knew those buildings are just the physical manifestation of something else. And he said that when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame for buildings, when he says, architecture, that's something you can see. You can't see a spirit or a temperament or a character, though. And there's an invisible part of this community I'm very proud of, because in a democracy, the process is more important than the product. And the one thing we realized right off, those 16, 17 plus communities I showed you on the very first screen is, the one thing they all shared in common, they all had a deliberate process designed out on paper together of how they were going to engage and work together. This is something invisible to most people, but it's something extraordinarily about the secret sauce to how to make it work. Columbus, like these other communities, always had a stakeholder engagement process. It always kind of had this deliberate way of working together, and it never left the process to chance. The more you work these processes, and this is precisely what those communities do, you get two things. You get, first of all, trust, because you guys are learning how to get a shared understanding about your challenges together, and you get more commitment because you're building things together. You're co-creating work together. And one of the most gratifying things we do, again, we don't leave that process to chance. We teach it to all of our young professionals. We teach it all to next generation leadership about what good process looks like, how to design one so we can move it across generation and generation. Now, a lot of people are saying that's enough about process. What about outcomes? Well, of course, you've got to have some shared measures and shared metrics. Every one of those 17 Talent Hub areas measured these 3 strategies and made their progress public. Again, this transparency is a basic piece of talent development. They had scorecards about talent attraction, talent development, and talent engagement. And they renewed those and made those public as public commitments on a continuous basis. So what are the lessons learned? So let me tell you what I've learned about your community by talking to the board of directors and so many of you. There is so much fantastic stuff going on around talent attraction, development, and engagement already. They've been mentioned here tonight, but I was particularly impressed with Hoosier Opportunity and connecting talent together. I love the education partnerships around Manufacturing Matters. Hype, cool website. You have a pub crawl next weekend, do you know that? 310 people were excited on Facebook about it, right? Very cool. Very excited about it. I might be back next weekend. School's cool is cool. What a great, great thing. Keep it up. And I know, and I'm remiss, I know there are many other things like Forward Wayne County going on and so many other pieces. But here's my kind of just one takeaway. Just make sure that all that's working together as a system, right? That your attraction stuff speaks to your development stuff, speaks to your place stuff, that there's a thread going through all that, right? Make sure your economic strengths and your education are in alignment, but also in alignment with your place, right? That's a talent development system. Remember what holds it together. There's 3 verbs that hold those circles together: attracting talent, developing talent, and engaging talent. And by gosh, if you can do it in a welcoming, opening context, the multiplier effect, right? All the better. So I was happy to see on the Talent Hubs a few common characteristics. You've heard them all here already. The reminder, they're thinking about talent in a systemic way and using a systemic approach across attraction, development, and engagement. 2, they're engaging a much broader array of stakeholder relationships than they had in the past, working across the public, the private, and the social sectors to make this happen. 3, they all have an intentional engagement process. They don't leave it to chance. They know the better solutions come from better processes, and the process is the outcomes in the making. And they don't leave that such critical thing as a process, the way they're going to work together to chance. 3, they set goals. They set 3 particular goals at least around those particular areas. I gave you 3 ideas here tonight around net immigration, attainment, and vitality. The important thing is you pick them, you set them at a community level, and you fiercely pursue them together. And the last one, of course, is measuring that. Right? Continually looking at your process and continuously getting better, a la the Welcoming Community Survey that we saw. That's kind of the things that's going on in those particular areas that they all kind of share in common. I applaud you completely for wanting to build a blockbuster community, because you're setting the bar high, as you should. You always need to set it high, because communities will tend to live up to whatever standards you set for it. But remember this, excellence is a form of deviance, and I think most people forget that. You, as a region, become excellent because you want to do things that other communities don't want to do. It's as simple as that. But I'm so excited for you because I've seen evidence that you do want to do things that other communities don't want to do. I've seen this in so many of the things that I've learned about, the things that we've actually heard here tonight. But whatever you do it a little bigger and a little bolder than you think maybe you have to. Because as you know, you're not doing this for yourself. You're not building a talent development system for you. You're developing it for the most important stakeholder that right now is not even at the table and has absolutely no voice in the process. And that's the future children and youth of the Wayne County region in which you're at, and their particular talent aspirations that we deserve to make sure get fulfilled. And I know we can do this together. And you've got to aim high and search for excellence, because in the immortal words of J. Erwin Miller, nothing in this world is more expensive than mediocrity. Thanks again for the kind invitation to be here. Thanks for your kind attention that you've sent. It's been a real pleasure. Have a good evening, and congratulations to the award winners.
Thank you, Jack. I guess we all need to raise our bar just a little bit higher, don't we? Tonight, we're big award ceremony, and I guess in the first award, Best Supporting Actor or something to that effect. But tonight, our first award is for the 2018 Outstanding Performance by a Keynote Speaker. And Jack, I think you win.
Thank you again to Jack Hess for a very inspiring message and for being our keynote speaker this evening. At this time, we'd like to invite to the stage to say a few words and to help present this year's award recipients, our award sponsor, First Bank Richmond Senior Vice President Paul Whitty.
It is First Bank Richmond's pleasure to sponsor tonight's awards. This is an important night to recognize and be appreciative of what the Chamber and its members accomplished during the past year. Due to these award winners, other great individuals, businesses, and service organizations, Wayne County is headed straight to the top. Thank you to everyone who makes Wayne County a great place to live, work, play, and go to school. I would also like to extend a special thanks to Gary Saunders for his longtime support by donating the Education Awards in memory of his wife, Charlotte Huffine Saunders. Congratulations in advance to all of our award winners.
We begin the Chamber Awards program by recognizing the outstanding Chamber Committee members from each of the Chamber's active working committees. Agribusiness Committee, Barbara Osborne, RMD Patty. Barb is a dedicated member of this committee and helped extensively with the 2017 Farm Tour. Awards, celebrations, and events, otherwise known as the ACES Committee, Pam Pearson, Natco Credit Union. One of the newer members of the group, Pam was at nearly all of the ribbon cutting since joining, as well as bringing her upbeat personality to the meetings and events. Business and Education Committee, Julie Jolliffe, Junior Achievement. Playing an integral role in preparing students for the high school senior jobs fair, Julie led the first ever JA in a Day event in Wayne County. By Local Committee, Larry Sexton, Rose's Office 360. Larry's creative thinking led this committee's launch to the Buy Local Certified program. Issues and Advocacy Committee, Ray Onco, Docs Pop. Ray is unable to be with us tonight. He's given his time to research issues and craft educational messages to be shared with our members. Member Outreach Committee, Lee Elzemeyer, First Merchants Bank. Lee reignited this group in 2017, leading the way for some new initiatives to roll out in 2018. And Lee also wanted a way to give himself his own award. Our main awards for the evening will fall into 3 different categories. Please turn your attention to the screen as we watch a video highlighting our first set of awards, the Outstanding Service Award winners.
Social service organizations are the lifeline of any community. It has often been argued that the strength of any community is based on its ability to help those citizens who are in the most vulnerable of positions. Today, communities are faced with many challenges and needs, which require a multitude of people to support those areas of opportunity. Wayne County is so fortunate to have many talented and dedicated people who are addressing the many needs of this region. The entire county offers several programs, initiatives, and organizations across all areas of life. One thing that the people of this county have a long history of doing is picking each other up during the times that life looks the most desperate. The ability to pull together and bounce back is a testament of our strength and the great tireless work of so many people and so many organizations. Tonight, we honor those who sacrifice daily to make all of our lives better and to make this a community where dreams come alive.
And now let's recognize those outstanding service award winners. Volunteer of the Year, Teresa Scruggs. While the Chamber is fortunate to have many volunteers helping throughout the year on committees and with projects, Teresa Scruggs stands out among the crowd. An employee of Wayne County Foundation, Teresa is the first impression for every guest walking into the Joint Chamber Foundation building. While she's not on the Chamber's payroll, she is eager to help with visitors with their needs, going above and beyond the call of duty. Teresa also ensures the meeting rooms are reserved, prepped, and have drinks waiting on the attendees when they arrive. Her positive attitude and true gift of hospitality make Teresa the Chamber's 2017 Volunteer of the Year. Achievement and Excellence for a nonprofit, Meridian Health Services, represented by Jerry Siranowski and Seward Salazar. Meridian Health Services is a progressive healthcare organization that believes in treating the whole person, integrating physical, mental, and social well-being to help people achieve their optimum health. This approach connects treatments and doctors working together to heal both the body and mind of total well-being. Not only does Meridian's spectrum of services connect medical and behavioral health, but also delivers programs focused on human services, like independent living support, job skills training, foster care for special needs children, and counseling and support services for the victims of child abuse. Meridian is the first and currently only behavioral health care system in Indiana to offer such care. Ladies and gentlemen, our achievement in excellence for a nonprofit, Meridian Health Services. The Bob Rosa Buy Local Award, Samantha Purcell, Ply Fiber Arts. Sam Purcell is the owner of Ply Fiber Arts in downtown Richmond. Sam is an active chamber board member and chairs the Buy Local Committee. Under Sam's leadership, the Buy Local Committee rolled out creative initiatives such as Wayne County Weekends, the Buy Local Certification Program, and worked with the team for the Shop Small Saturday initiative to help promote a Buy Local initiative Thanksgiving weekend. Sam was also instrumental in organizing a walking tour of Richmond's downtown and depot districts with our state's U.S. Small Business Association director to highlight the unique local shopping at the city's core. The Bob Rosa Buy Local Award winner, Sam Purcell. Congratulations to all the Outstanding Service Award winners. Our second category tonight recognizes those outstanding individuals for their service and contributions to the community. But before we meet the winners, turn your attention to the video screen as we highlight our outstanding individuals.
Former Indiana native and coaching legend John Wooden used to say, a leader's most powerful ally is his or her own example, and true leaders will lead by example. This community has so many great leaders that do just that, lead by example. Whether in the field of business, education, social services, or not-for-profit organizations, Wayne County has some of the best and brightest leaders in the state of Indiana, doing extraordinary work that reaches far beyond the four walls of this county. Pride in community, pride in their work, and pride in helping their fellow citizens. Wayne County has helped develop great inspirational leaders that accomplish amazing feats for Wayne County and the state of Indiana. People inspiring and leading others to accomplishments and heights they never thought were achievable. Tonight, we honor those individuals who have made a profound impact on Wayne County in 2017.
And now for this year's award winners. Public Service Award, Dixie Robinson, Richmond Community Schools. Dixie Robinson has been a lifelong resident of Richmond and worked tirelessly to help youth in the community. Dixie's passion for young people has been unparalleled. She spent nearly 50 years in education serving as a teacher, administrator, and now the Richmond Community Schools School Board Chair. Dixie spends much of her personal time giving back to the community. Ladies and gentlemen, our public service recipient, Dixie Robinson. Emergency Services Professional of the Year, Officer Tim Davis Jr., the Richmond Police Department. Officer Davis has been on the Richmond Police Force for over 27 years. During his time with the Richmond Police Department, he has been a patrolman, a DARE instructor, a founding member of the 1st SWAT team, Youth Division Services Officer, and a longtime instructor at Safety Village. This past September, Officer Davis was successful in taking down an armed felony suspect who had fled from officers into a north side 3-story building and onto the 3rd floor, where he was threatening to jump and end his life. Officer Davis continued to talk with the suspect, building trust, and eventually was able to safely and peacefully take the suspect into custody, saving his life and defusing a potentially very tragic situation. Please recognize Officer Tim Davis Jr. as our Emergency Professional of the Year. Educator of the Year, Tara Nocton, Northeastern High School. Tara Nocton has been an educator for more than 30 years. Tara touches the lives of all the students who graduate from Northeastern High School, where she has served as the high school counselor. She's been a shoulder to cry on, a cheerleader, a confidant, and a friend. She's respected by students, teachers, and administrators all around the county. Tara works relentlessly for student success to ensure that those who may not graduate in 4 years have a plan after high school to continue their education or a place in the workforce. Ladies and gentlemen, your Educator of the Year is Tara Nocton. Art Vivian Distinguished Community Leader, David Rogers, Whitewater Broadcasting Corporation. This gentleman is deeply devoted and committed to the Wayne County area. Dave Rogers has continuously touched a great many lives in the community. He has a very quiet but very big heart. Dave donates much of his time, energy, and resources to the many not-for-profit organizations in Wayne County with a deep understanding that philanthropy is a redistribution of resources that goes back into making a better community for all of its citizens. One of Dave's passions is to help many of our college students seeking internships in our community, as Dave works tirelessly to help talented graduates home right here in Wayne County. Dave has been a great partner with both IU East and Earlham, helping to fund their internship programs. Dave's longtime success of being a business executive in the radio and broadcast industry helped to form his love for the symphony and for the arts in our community. His long-term service and commitment to the Richmond Symphony Orchestra Board of Directors has been invaluable through his many years, and especially during these past several years of great growth. Dave Rogers has a great passion, vision, and love for this community he calls home. Please congratulate our Art Vivian Distinguished Community Leader and my friend, Dave Rogers. Congratulations to all of the outstanding individual award winners. For our final category, we look to the Corporations of the Year. Please turn your attention to the video screen.
For decades, the backbone of our community has been the corporations that choose Wayne County as its home. Whether locally or nationally owned companies, Wayne County businesses provide the catalyst for our region's success. The heartbeat of this county still rests on the vibrancy and energy of our manufacturing, agriculture, retail, educational, and healthcare industries. Strength, courage, perseverance, entrepreneurial, all are traits that our companies demonstrate on a daily basis. With our proximity to I-70 and access to cities like Indianapolis, Dayton, and Cincinnati, Wayne County is primed for great success by the many corporations that call this region their home. So much talent, so many diverse corporations, and such a critical component to Indiana's success. Wayne County businesses are on the rise. Tonight, we honor those corporations who are 2017 award winners.
And now for this year's award winners, Partner in Education, Communities and Schools, represented by Executive Director Becky Murray and Board Chair Laura Blessing. Communities and Schools continues to make a daily impact on Wayne County students, serving 14 schools with the anticipation of adding 4 more by February. They provide a multitude of services that have immeasurable results. An example of this is in the Richmond Community School Corporation. They've worked directly with 500 students. Of the many students they worked with, 76% met or exceeded their attendance goals, 62% met or exceeded their behavioral goals, and 70% met or exceeded their academic goals. They also help many of our county students with food, clothing, hygiene products, or simply just providing an adult who cares, listens, and is willing to mentor our students through many of today's challenges. Please thank our partner in education, Community in Schools. Outstanding Service to Agriculture, Bell's Strawberry Farm, represented by Nellie Mitchell, daughter of Ed and Debbie Bell. Ed and Debbie Bell were outstanding hosts of the Chamber's 2017 Farm Tour. Their innovative work with an initiative called Agribilities has assisted those many farmers from around the state who have disabilities develop creative ways that can continue to farm following an accident. The Bells are active and supportive of the future Farmers of America in Hagerstown, working with youth to further educate our up-and-coming agricultural leaders of the proper ways to run a farm in today's business climate. People come from multiple states to experience Bell's homegrown strawberries and Debbie's all-natural jams. We congratulate Bell's Strawberry Farm. Achievement and Excellence, Small Business, Radford's Meat Market, owned by Tom and Jen Farrell. Radford's is a family-owned meat market that has been located in Richmond since 1989. Radford's has a regional reputation of sourcing the finest meats with distinguished preparation. In addition to providing our customers with exceptional products in store, they also offer event catering for multiple different audiences and occasions. From backyard barbecues to elegant 5-course dinners, their meats and other exceptional dish options bring delight and satisfaction to your table or event at an affordable price. This past year saw the expansion of a new East Side location to complement their busy West Side location. Radford's Meat Market, the Small Business Achievement and Excellence recipient. Achievement and Excellence, Large Business, Hills Pet Nutrition, represented by Sherilyn Johnson and Jackie Vanderpool. The employees at Hills Pet Nutrition, located in Richmond, continually give back to this community, much to their personal time, serving those who are most in need. The company's family approach has led them to one of the area's most devoted stewards. Hills has been a community partner in serving educational, economic, and social needs. Educationally, they constantly look for ways to grow our area's talent base, including their work with Manufacturing Matters, a partnership between manufacturers, the Economic Development Corporation, Chamber, and Ivy Tech. Hills employees volunteer mentoring and reading to Vail Elementary students. And now 2 years in a row, Hills has had a community outreach day, sending their employees to do community service projects. In 2017 alone, they assisted Richmond Parks and Recreation Department, helped the animals, 4-H Fairgrounds, SAWS, JC House, Boys and Girls Club, Girls Inc., Cope Environmental Center, Wayne County Historical Museum, wait, there's more, Vail Elementary, Red Cross, Centerville Main Street. Ladies and gentlemen, our Large Business Achievement and Excellence, Hills Pet Nutrition. And Corporation of the Year, Belden Incorporated, represented by Doug Brennicky. Belden, a global and international company, has helped to put Richmond on the map as they remain one of the area's top employers and have continually chosen to grow, expand, and prosper right here in Richmond. They've invested multi-millions of dollars in expansion and upgrades to their Richmond facilities. They work extremely hard to help grow and shape our area's talent pool. They recently developed a partnership between the Richmond High School Career and Technical Education Center and Ivy Tech. The newly formed Belden Workforce Training Program provides high school students the opportunity to develop necessary work skills coupled with real-life work experience. This creative framework takes a proactive measure to create new opportunities for students and provide them a chance to work for Belden or other manufacturers in the community the day they graduate high school. Belden created an endowed scholarship fund for future students. Please please congratulate our Corporation of the Year, Belden Incorporated. And ladies and gentlemen, another hand for all of our award winners for the 2018 Chamber Annual Dinner. To conclude tonight's dinner, we invite back to the microphone Board Chair Lee Elsemeyer.
Wow, what a great group we have here. Congratulations to all the winners. When they talk about their achievements, it's pretty special. I want to thank all those who've made this night special. Whitewater Construction for providing the bars, the Hollywood backdrop, A+ Sign and Thor Construction for creating the outdoor marquees, Bruce and Tracy Upchurch for sponsoring the Richmond Civic Theater actors, Optivise IT for providing our award-winning posters, the Chamber's ACES Committee for making this a blockbuster night. Have a great night. Thanks for coming out. Let's go make it a great year.